it's set up to do twice. So if everyone makes sure you can see, and I will get down here on the ground, I guess. So first of all, zucchini plants are, some plants in the garden are totally male and totally female, but zucchini and all squash plants have both male and female flowers on the same flower. So I'm just picking on the same plant. I'm so sorry. So you can tell the difference between a male and a female if you look carefully, because you can see that one of these is going to turn into a zucchini, right?
Yes.
This is a Costata Romanesco. This is an Italian heirloom variety that I'm trying out this year. So first of all, the first thing you need to be able to do is identify which is male and which is female. So the way you tell is that this is the baby fruit right here, and this is the male because it has no fruit. Okay? Any questions about that? Do you think you can tell from now on by yourself?
So when that first starts out, is it kind of like this, or does it start out as a pretty fruit-looking fruit? I mean, I'm just wondering, what was that a couple days ago? Is it skinnier like this?
Let's see if we can find one that's in that stage. I mean, you can tell right from the very beginning.
It's just as lush.
So it looks different than just a stem. It's not just a skinny.
Is there one here? Oh,
You're gonna see a fatter piece to it where it's not just.
there's a babier one, right there.
So is that pollinated yet?
No.
Okay.
So you can. This is not pollinated. This opened yesterday and is pollinated.
So it's
So
stalkier. It doesn't look
you
like
can
a stem.
you can tell the difference. It'll always have that baby fruit. Okay, and this one will never have a baby fruit, so you can tell which one is male and which one is female. And in order to help these have the appropriate relationship, you've got to know which one is male and which one is female, or this is not going to work out for you today.
This is like plant marriage 101.
This is plant marriage 101. That's exactly right. So that was good that we pulled out a baby one so that you can see. All right, so now what you need to know is that you have to come the night before, and you have to find the ones that look like, oh gosh, let's see what I can find here.
One that's almost ready.
The ones that are almost ready. So here's a male, and you can tell that they're almost ready because they begin to just turn yellow at the tip the night before they're going to open. So you could tell that this is not going to open tomorrow because this is not beginning to turn yellow at the tip. So this is probably 48 hours away.
How about this one here? Is that one beyond? It's just,
So, and
is that one
that's a
yellow?
good question. You can tell that this one opened yesterday,
And it's already flowered and done.
and it's already flowered, and it is now dying because they begin to curl down once the flower has opened, and then it closes at the night, and now it's beginning to die. And so the curled down ones like this, it's a very good point. This is utterly useless. Do not use this. So you have to be able to identify the flowers that are about to open the next morning, and they will be a little bit bigger than this, and they will just begin to turn yellow at the tip, and that's how you know they're going to open.
When you say it's useless, you mean don't save from it, don't try and hand pollinate it, eat it, but don't.
Well, and the male you can't even eat.
That was a male.
It's
Okay.
totally useless. Men are just useless after the
That's what I wanted you to say. Thank you.
So yeah, so that has already been cross-pollinated. The reason that we have to hand pollinate is because the insects have been in here and they've been in everything else in the garden. So now this has pollination from other species. So if you take a fruit from that, then it will have seed that will grow into who knows what. It'll be a mongrel. Okay. All right. So I came out here last night. I identified one female and 3 males because you need to pollinate one female with 3 males from 3 separate plants in order to prevent genetic depression. That's what the bees do by themselves. They take pollen from one flower and move it to the next and to the next and to the next. If you want to have a good line of next generation fruits, you have to have pollen from 3 male plants. So I came out last night and identified that there's a female right here, and then I got my male. So, and then I took these muslin bags, and the muslin is how this used to be done. You can also do this with tape if you want. But the important thing to know is that you have to close these as tight as you can get them around the stem of this bag. Otherwise, the bumblebees will come in and the bees will come up in, because as soon as this flower opens in the morning, they can smell that pollen and they want at it. And so it has to be as tight as you can get it, whether you're taping it closed or whether you're using these muslin bags that are 50 cents a piece and are totally reusable forever. You need to close it as tight as you can without breaking the stem.
Caleb, do you need to wash the bags after you do
Yes,
it?
after you use it, you
Like
must
just run
wash
through
the bags.
washing machine or rinse
Yes.
them in the sink or something.
At least rinse them in the sink. So here's the male flower that I bagged up yesterday before it opened. And it's mad at me because it's been stuck in that bag. Now we're going to take and carefully, because the pollen is in the center of here, and we're going to carefully peel that flower from around the base, trying not to disturb the pollen inside. And we're going to lift that off. And now we have a little paintbrush full of pollen. Got that? If you're not gentle, that pollen will all rub off while you're ripping that flower off. Now, Judy, will you come over here and hold my paintbrush and don't let any insect land
Don't
on it.
sneeze on it.
Don't sneeze on it. So now this bag we can reuse for later. So now I'm going to grab another male.
Now that's from the same plant, so does that matter?
Well, that is from the same plant, but that's what Mother Nature had to offer last night.
The doozy says not what he does.
But at least my female is here, so I'm getting 2 males off of this plant and a male off of this plant. So
That's pretty good.
What do you
it's
have over here?
it's what we're going. Oh, is there a male? See, there's males everywhere.
Also the spider.
So then we don't even need this one because this is a 4th. So I'll let someone peel this off. Who wants to
Awesome.
practice peeling?
Did somebody want it?
No, you go ahead. No, no, no.
Well, there's more.
I don't mind experimenting a whole bunch at home.
Okay, here's another male. Again, the bag has been closed as tight as we can get it without breaking the stem.
Don't pull off the females.
Okay. Now, see, she's done a great job peeling that off. You want to leave it? You want to leave some of the stem here so that you can paint it on later. You're in charge of holding that. I have one more to peel.
Do you want this back in your garden?
No, I mean, yes, you can just throw it on pepper. Who's going to peel this one? Okay, we need to get that in order to do this. Now look at that. That one's a gorgeous, that's full of pollen and it's just,
It's a nice
can you
one.
see that? It's just coming off of there. That's very, very nice. Now I'm saving the female for last because the female, we've just sacrificed the man. They're going to die now. But the female must remain intact, so we've got to be very careful with her. Okay, excellent job peeling that off. Again, you can see that was just right full of sticky, powdery pollen. It's absolutely gorgeous.
There's a bug in here.
Okay, now we're going to open this carefully.
Oh, do you know what, Kato? Is there a bug in the plant?
A little ant thing or bug in here.
Let's see it. Show Caleb. We can make sure it's okay.
Bugs crawling around.
What was it? I don't see it.
I thought it might have been an
Nice
ant.
clear bug.
If it was an ant, it's okay.
Yeah. That's a non-pollinator.
Look how pretty that's.
Compost.
Okay, now we've taken this off here, so we got to pay attention to this. So now we're going to gently rip the top off of this flower and open that up. Paying attention. See, look, here's the bug already wanting to come over here, and that bug cannot touch this. And if you look at this, you can see that this is what the female part looks like. Can you all see that? we're going to take our first male and we're just going to gently paint this pollen on here like this. Gently. Okay, now he's done. Next.
Could you do several plants with the same?
No.
You lose pollen pretty quickly.
Oh, okay. So you're basically doing one female for each female.
And then I like to gently try to go down in the center just like I'm a bee. See that? Gently push down into the center.
Be the bee.
Be the bee, that's right. We're just painting that pollen on there. Paint, 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 paint. And our fourth one for good luck. Okay, now we're done. We're going to take our muslin bag and we're going to close that up and get this back over the top carefully.
Caleb, I assume it's important to put the female bag back on the female plant. Is that correct?
If you don't, then the insects will get in there and then all of this will have been in vain.
Well,
It's in the
but
same
you don't
bag.
put the male, one of these male bags.
Doesn't matter which bag.
Shouldn't
Oh,
matter
I use-
actually, because you
use
just
the-
put that pollen on the female.
I use the same bag just to be safe.
Okay.
Now see, I'm hand tightening that as tight as I dare. And now that needs to be left on there for 3 days. And then you come back in 3 days, and if that is still alive, then you have been successful. And if that is died, that whole tendril will die back, and you know that you either damaged it too much or you have about a 33% chance of spontaneous abortion in the squash world. That just happens whether it's insect pollinated or hand pollinated. There's a 33% chance of spontaneous abortion after it's been pollinated. So you may need to come back and do that. Now, if that works, and we'll know that in 3 days, if that works, that will produce, you just leave that in the garden, tie a string or something to the base of it so that everybody in the family knows, because this has happened to me before, don't pick that squash. It's got to be marked with something. It can't be tied tight because that's going to get really big. This is going to become a baseball bat size zucchini. It's going to stay in the garden all summer long as possible, and then you're going to pick it right before the first frost of the year, and you're going to leave it to let it sit for 3 more weeks after you pick it, and then you're going to open it up and you're going to take probably 100 seeds out of there. So then you'll have enough to exchange or to put in the freezer and save or do whatever you want. So you don't have to do this a lot, because if that one works, and we'll know in 3 days, then you'll have enough of this particular plant.
How long do you leave it after you pick it?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yes.
And you said pick it before the first
Because
frost?
studies have shown that the germination rate increases by about 50% if you leave the squash to sit for 3 weeks to cure before you
On
open
the
it
ground
up.
right there, or just does it matter?
No, it needs to, this is after, this is right before the first frost, because you don't want to leave it out for the frost. So right before the first frost, you pick it and take it and put it in your garage or somewhere where it's going to be safe. Yes.
What about like making sure you have the best one and stuff? Does that really apply with what we're doing here?
Well, you need it needs to look like it should look. If after you have hand pollinated and it produces a fruit and it looks in any way off, then you don't want to save those genetics. It's also important that you try to do the first fruits, because the first fruits are the most genetically viable. So you're going to have the highest germination and the most vigor from the first fruits. If you wait until the end of the season to start doing hand pollination, you're not going to get as much.
Now, if I only have 2 zucchini plants this year, should I just wait and do it another year, or should I still try?
No, I don't think you should wait, because at the very least you've tried.
Okay.
I think you should start educating yourself right away.
Okay.
I mean, we only use 3 here. I mean, we did 1 plant had the female and 2 plants had the males. Oh no, we did 3. We did 4. Okay. We did it right,
Yeah.
but it's time to start learning. You
Yeah.
know, the first time I ever did this in my life, I just did it, because you just have to jump in with both feet and learn how to do it.
Yeah.
So where do you buy the muslin bags?
I have them.
The exchange bought a
We
whole
bought
bunch
them in
of
bulk so you could get them nice and cheap.
Yeah, so you can get muslin bags from the exchange, and I think they're 50 cents a piece or something. So
Where would you get them otherwise if you were telling somebody about it from Florida or
Well, you can order it on Amazon.
Amazon?
Yeah, it'd just be more per bag if you're ordering less.
What are they just called them? What do you call them? Is there a specific name?
Yeah, just search muslin bag.
Muslin bag. And,
Well, people use them for saving little beads, craft pieces. I mean, they use them for a lot of things. So they do sell quite a bit of them, which is nice. They're available
and
to
you
us.
talked about how you knew the male plant was ready. Is it the same thing for the female? You're
it's
just
the
looking
same thing for the
that
female.
little
You're looking for the one that is turning yellow at the tip.
And you did talk about bagging it the night before, right?
Yes.
Because they open when it gets warm the next day, and that's when the insects will
open
get
very
them.
early in the morning,
Oh,
so
in
you
the
do
morning,
need
yeah.
to bag them the night before.
Yeah.
Could you bag them like a day or two early? Like
No.
that one that you said? Okay.
I wouldn't bag them a day or two early because they are, as soon as they're bagged, now I'm on camera with a mouthful of zucchini. I was just looking, too yummy sitting there. As soon as the bag is on them, you have begun to stress that flower.
Okay.
So if you leave it on there for 2 or 3 days, it's much more likely to die than it is to do anything
Got
else.
it. Okay.
So we're just leaving it on overnight, that's it. Okay.
Except
there-
for 3 days with the female once you've done it.
Except for 3 days
Yeah.
with the female, yes, which is to keep the other
So you
bugs
come out in the evening, see if anything's ready, bag it if it is.
But that flower is now going to begin to die anyway. So the flower is either going to die because we're started to grow a baby fruit, or
Or-
it's going to die and the whole tendril is going to die because it's done. So,
We'll find out.
And if
Okay.
it doesn't work, you just go on to the next one.
right.
Next.
And I'm going to do this one more time. We have it ready, set up over here. Learn which one of these is the female before we open it.
What plant is this, Caleb? What plant is this thing you're doing?
Oh, this is, what is this? This is called winter zucchini. It's not publicly available, but it is a zucchini.
So eventually be in the exchange.
Okay, oops, what am I doing? I'm starting to open the female, but we want to open the female last.
So did you mark them so you can tell a difference, or you just
Look.
know by looking at it?
There's a squash bug.
Bad bug.
Squish the squash bug. Okay, so we're going to open that up. Sorry, what was the question?
You can tell by just looking at the stem through the bag, or how do you know which is
See,
what?
that is not mature. Can you
Yeah.
see that?
It's not ready.
It is not ready because
It changed its mind?
I was a little desperate last night knowing you were all coming. So I bagged the best things I could find. But we can tell by looking at that this does not have mature pollen in it because it has not begun to open and it is not orange at the tip. They're not selling, we're exchanging.
There's no money exchanged for seeds here.
So see, you can open that up and you can see there's no pollen on that. That is not ready to go. Worthless because I did it 24 hours too early.
Hold it still.
Can you see that? There's no pollen on there. So, even our failures are good for demonstration.
That's right. Don't use that.
Let's try this one. Aha!
We have yellow.
Now see that one we can see. Do you see that there's a total difference between those two?
They're on this
So we can see that this
You
one
mind
is
doing that
ready. Do
again?
you want to peel that?
Caleb,
You mind doing that
he
again,
wants
except
you to
hold it
hold
this
the
way?
two together.
He's getting me
Oh.
still shots of some of those things.
I'm trying to put this back together so it looks the way that it did. See? Bad. Good.
Perfect.
So this one is very experimental because it's only going to have two, and it may work with two. I have had it work with two before. Okay, so again, we can open that one. That one is good and ready to go. We can tell. Who's going to peel that? Come on, we need a peeling volunteer. You're here to learn. Be careful with my rutabaga seed.
Let me hand you your notebook.
Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take the cover off of our female. And we can see that it's opened up nicely. At this point, it's exposed to the world. We cannot let any bugs land on this. And we're just going to take our males, right?
Any males ready?
No bugs land on this. We're going to take our males,
We
and
need
we're,
a swatter.
and we're going to just paint that pollen on there.
So you're painting it on that center thing in the center of the bottom of the
Yes.
flower.
And down
And
around.
my experience has been that if you don't do this gently, it will abort.
Just don't bruise it.
You have to touch it lovingly.
That is reproduction.
I
after
wasn't
all.
going to say that, but somebody did say that. So there we go. There's our second one.
And you're touching it on the on the.
There's a yellow
in the middle.
There's a yellow bowl.
You'll get a close up on the video.
Okay, so we only had 2. Oops. Now we're going to close that up and bag it back up. We're just closing it up so we can fit this over it. Put it down as far as we can go. Bag that, pull it tight, but don't break it or break the stem. Got to be tight enough that no bug can crawl up in there, but not breaking it. And then we'll know in 3 days. We come back and take that bag off in 3 days, and there will either be a baby fruit starting to grow or the whole thing will be totally dead. And that's how we will know if we were successful.